Alright, yo, so I'm sitting here listening to the best of Bob Marley classic hits and rare songs HD mix. I'll like it so you guys can get a hold of this as well. And I was just looking up some shit on Rastas, and I was actually Googling how old was Bob Marley when he started to grow his locks, and it brought me to this website talking about Bob Marley. And at first I thought it was a bunch of disinformation, and not all this in this website is correct from what I'm looking at, because this website is saying Bob Marley was always a Rasta, but Bob Marley turned to Rastafari in his 20s. And I was just trying to find that's what I heard in that movie Marley that I saw. I was just trying to find a second backing of that, but I came across this, and he was talking about how his Rastafari is in the heart and he was born with it, which, like, yeah, I see where he's coming from. Everyone is Rasta at heart, and you only become aware of it at a certain part in your life. But Bob really started embracing it when he was in his 20s, and I believe it was 27, and I'm gonna double check that for you guys. But what I was looking at in here was it caught my eye because it starts talking about the Rasta way of life, and it was interesting because what they mention is what a person close to God is the desire to know God and to share his hope that one day there will be a global unity amongst all humanity. But Rastafari talk about God a lot, okay? And this goes to a comment to what I said before, and how Bob Marley is Rasta, but Rasta is like Christianity. I'm not saying it was a form of Christianity, but it's like Christianity in a sense that they believe in God and God's son Jesus, Yahweh. And basically this part caught my eye here, talking about I want to become a Rasta. It's saying if you want to become a Rasta, there isn't anything you really have to do. Rasta is in the heart. You can grow your locks or not. This is a personal choice for a Rasta man or Rasta woman. The growing of the locks is a final declaration that tells the world, this is who I am. You either accept me or bite me. No, but we do take the locking of our hair very seriously. One should never feel forced to lock their hair. Mostly Rasta is about respecting nature and humanity as gifts and creations of God. And this is what I'm trying to just show you guys here, is that Rasta believe in God and God's son, and that is how it's like, it's similar in that sense. And they also do read the Bible, and I have to double check with you on what version of the Bible Rasta read. But what I find amazing about all this is how Bob Marley sings about a lot of Rasta and he refers to God a lot. And it's funny now because most people that have dreads, from what it seems on these videos that I'm posting sometimes, is that they don't believe in God. But you see a lot of people with dreads in the culture that don't believe in God, but they believe in this whole spiritual movement. And this is the part that's very, very, very deceiving, in two ways. One, that it shows that there's fake Rastas amongst us, and we clearly know that even though we're all Rasta, I think some people definitely just wear it for the style, and I was victim to that, where I did that myself, wore it for a style, and I was also deceived into this whole spirituality thing that went along with it. As I just mentioned, how I feel there's a lot of dreads out there that are spiritually deceived, that don't believe in God but believe in like a universal force. You start hearing that a lot now in this new age movement type religions. And I really just think that we should definitely just grow our hair out for God, in the name of God here, because it shows us who we really are, and not just have dreads for style purpose. But there's not really much you can do about that, because people are gonna rock it regardless. And it's just sad that the godliness has been taken out of dreadlocks in that sense. It's not like how it used to be, where before, in the 60s or 70s or before that, you know, like when people were growing dreads, they couldn't go to the salon and pay somebody to make locks for them. They couldn't go to the beauty shop and buy hair product to make their locks start up. People had locks just by growing their hair out, because our hair naturally is supposed to lock together. It just takes time and patience, and that is the ultimate test about doing it. But now everyone is stressing out over how to make the most perfect locks, and that's not the true meaning of locks. And this is what it's kind of come down to. I haven't read much more on this website here, but let's see. You can read along with me. How does a person grow Bob Marley dreadlocks? It is very easy to get dreadlocks. I'll explain how most African American people do it. I'm sure these methods will work for straight hair too. Use some beeswax. First thing, this is what I mean. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about on this website. Fully. You shouldn't use beeswax like that. But let's see what else he says. Or just use nothing. That sounds much better. Just use nothing. And twist your strands of hair into locks. Okay. Depending on your hair texture, you can then probably want to hold the ends with elastic rubber bands, or bundle your lock twists in a ponytail while they have the lock gel or lock wax on them. Another thing you can do is wash your hair with aloe. Real aloe, not aloe gel from the drugstore. The size of each individual parting in the scalp is the size the dreadlock will be once it's matured. Okay, so going back to how he was washed, rubber bands. A lot of people use rubber bands when they first start their locks out, but I don't agree with them. Like, even I tried them, but I just found them to be a hassle, because for one, they break all the time. You always gotta keep replacing them, or then they slip out, or they get tangled in your hair, which is even worse to get out. So I just avoid using rubber bands in general. Lock gel, I would prefer to use this stuff over lock wax. Although I would use either or only under one condition, and that's if the product is completely organic. That way I know that there's not any added fragrance or shit that's going to be put into it. But a lock gel is what I'm actually more interested in finding, is an organic lock gel that might help with my hair. We'll look at more into that later. What it says here, also, it's extremely important when you begin this process the first month only, do not wash the hair. So all I know is that clean hair locks better, but he says that only for the first month don't wash your hair. The virgin hair can become matted. Be sure to sleep with your hair covered in a silk scarf and a Rastafari hat in the day. Well, that's because it gets rid of the lint, it says. If you really want dreadlocks exactly like Bob Marley's hair, you can freeform and do nothing. Just let your hair knot up on its own. And that's what it comes down to when we're looking at Bob Marley dreadlocks. When you're looking at Bob Marley's locks, you're looking at a freeform king right here. He just wash and go. That's all he did. And he would wash with aloe vera in mountain spring water in Jamaica. It's like the best possible scenario you could get for growing locks. Keep in mind, a warmer climate is much more effective at growing freeform locks, because the air dries your hair much quicker. And yeah, Congos will happen, as we can see here. I need to click that. Anyways, that's enough of me talking about this. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.